Whereas, 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now know ye therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation founded on spiritual values and in which no man, woman or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. And as always, it's so great to have you in our company. Expect some cooler temperatures in the forecast for Valentine's Day, but for more on your weather outlook for today, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. Well, we woke up to some mild temperatures this morning with some high patchy clouds floating over parts of the northwest Bahamas. But outside of our studios, we're under partly cloudy skies, a temperature at 72 degrees, relative humidity 99%, east-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,021.1 millibars, that's 30.15 inches, and the pressure is steady. Now, your temperatures around the islands this morning, Marsh, Abaco at 74, also Greenville Key reporting 74, Freeport at 74, the Berry Islands a little warmer at 76 degrees, 76 also in Alderstown, Bimini, 75 in Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Cat Island, all at 76, and that extends into Stanley Key, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador and Rumkey, more 76 there, 77 in Georgetown, Exuma, 77s also in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands, Matchitown, and Nagua, 78 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also reported 78 degrees. And just in case you're flying out this morning, we'll hear some high and low temperatures you're likely to find at some of your favorite cities.
We can clean the hole just like you say. That's right, right? Yeah, that's right. All right now. Mama don't like no rigging and scraping in here. Mama don't like no rigging and scraping in here. Hey, he don't care, but Mama don't like no rigging and scraping anyhow. Mama don't like no rigging and scraping in here. Now Mama don't know that we are up. I ain't talking about the way she cook. Rake and scrape that pump into our veins.
And that's going to do it for your travel forecast now. For your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands, east to southeast winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place at 9:13 this morning, the low tide at 3:37 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, caution flags up, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, and the wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, our Lloyd Allen and the Morning Edition team is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, what you're looking at this morning is an awesome drone shot in the deep south. Good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas, and to the entire world. We're reporting your initial traffic report this morning near the intersection of Cowpen Road and Faith Avenue, and of course, Anatole Rogers High School, along with several communities and businesses in this area. Around 7 o'clock, we expect the traffic will intensify at this intersection right behind me, and so, of course, we are advising drivers that need to get out and about to get out as soon as possible to avoid long lines and delays. I'm also joined by Sergeant Jerron Thompson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who is giving you an initial look at overnight traffic. Good morning, Officer Thompson.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
So any reports of traffic overnight?
Yes, we had a total of 30 accidents in the last 24-hour period. 8 of those involved injuries. I'm happy to report that we had no hit-and-run accidents.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're off to a great start this week. I do want to revert, though, back to yesterday. We know, of course, near that intersection of Carmichael Road and Gladstone Road, there was a traffic fatality there yesterday where a victim who was being pursued by officers crashed and unfortunately came to his demise. I know over the last 24 hours there have been some developments as well.
Yes, we're trying to move towards finding the identity of that individual. He had a relative that came in from Albuquerque yesterday evening. We're looking to collect some DNA from her to compare to his DNA. So the identification process is going to take quite some time because we have to send those specimens away to the United States to be compared, and the results should take some 2 to 3 months. So we're gonna. It is a bit tedious when you have models like that, when you have poisons that are burned beyond recognition, or you can't recognize those poisons facially. So these are the steps that we have to take in order to secure an identity, in order for an autopsy to be done, in order for that poison loved one to be buried.
Well, thank you for that update. And, of course, we're also talking this morning about road safety. C.I. Gibson, I remember you. And, of course, other high schools and schools around the country, we see you as well. But I want to ask you this morning, Officer Thompson, of course, at this intersection right behind me, many students would be traversing to and from to get to school and home. What advice would you give to them? We can see, of course, there is no obvious pedestrian crossing. So what should those students do in cases like this?
Make sure that you make eye contact with the driver once you want to cross the street. Once that driver stops, make sure you make eye contact with the next person, on the next side. And once they come to a complete stop, make your way safely across the street. There are many sidewalks in this area. If you look at Fayette Avenue South, heading towards Anatole Rogers, there are sidewalks on both sides of the street. We advise persons to utilize those sidewalks. For some unknown reason, persons rather walk in the street where you have sidewalks available, and that is an absolute no-no, because if you were to get in a crash, not only are you going to be seriously hurt, but we're going to charge you for being a careless pedestrian.
All right, so some great news there. And, of course, as you again may have seen from the drone shot, those sidewalks are available. And so to all students around the country, remember to use those sidewalks where available, use pedestrians. And, of course, as you cross the street, look left, look right, and look left again. LaDawn, it's a great start to any Tuesday around the world. And, of course, we know it's 3 days to Valentine's. Are you excited? Back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, guys. Now on to our top story this morning. A local financial services company applauded for carving its own niche in the financial services market. The accolades from Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, as he joined company executives of Lano Corporate Services in breaking ground for a $25 million 5-story commercial building on Collins Avenue. The environmentally friendly structure is expected to be completed by June 2021. Prime Minister Minnis pointed out that the country looks forward to the company's future growth and success.
During the last 10 years, you have grown and diversified your service offerings to include a real estate company, brokerage, corporate, and now trust services. And I understand that plans are underway to significantly expand the company's real estate holdings and expand its presence in the Latin American and Asian markets.
Residents over in Grand Bahama are now benefiting from the government's home repairs program. The assistance officially began on that island yesterday. The aim is to provide residents affected by Hurricane Dorian with financial assistance through purchase orders. The Prime Minister traveled to Grand Bahama yesterday for the official launch, where he pledged his continued commitment to the people of Grand Bahama and Abaco. The Prime Minister said he understands the great financial strain facing residents impacted by Dorian, and the financial burden will reduce for residents who qualify for the program. Dr. Minnis and a delegation were also taken on a tour of the new small home repairs office located at the Harold de Gregory complex. You can also hear more from the Prime Minister on the government's hurricane reconstruction efforts in a national address at 8 o'clock tonight on the ZNS television and radio network. Meantime, the leader of the opposition, Philip Davis, says it's time to ring the bell. Mr. Davis was addressing a rally last night to mark the official launch of the party's campaign season for election 2022. Party officials used the platform to hint at early election promises, but not without targeting a number of government issues, including the post office deal and the ongoing unrest between labor unions. Speaking to the crowd of party supporters at Columbus Primary, Mr. Davis said in the next coming years, Bahamians must think seriously about their choice.
They said they would reduce taxes. They came in and raised VAT. It's the same with the health care. No beds and no meds. Just a disaster. Imagine that. 2 doctors given the opportunity to make our healthcare system better, and instead they're running it into the ground. They are at war with multiple labor unions, treating doctors and nurses with contempt instead of respect.
Jurors in the trial of 3 men accused of killing 4 people and attempting to murder 6 others on a drive-by shooting in Fox Hill 7 years ago have been excused today. However, they will return to court tomorrow. In their absence, lawyers will engage in legal discussions. Prosecutors say some 40 witnesses are expected to testify in the case, including one of the persons who was in the car with the accused, when the drive-by shooting took place back on December 27th of 2013. Defendants Peter Roll, Justin Williams, and Jermaine Curry are on trial for the crime. Justice Deborah Frazier is presiding over the case. And when we come back, we take a closer look at challenges facing the business community. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Tune in this Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will deliver his first national report for 2020. The Prime Minister will provide an update on the post-Dorian reconstruction program in Abaco and Grand Bahama. Major topics will be covered in the report. Will include updates on social assistance, electricity service, home and school repair, small business assistance, and debris removal programs. This Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. on ZNS TV 13.
Welcome to the best of sports world.
Welcome back. The high cost in rental fees, leasing issues, the hike in taxes, and simply wanting to venture into a new business may be some of the reasons why several small and medium-sized businesses across the capital have closed their doors recently. But the Chamber of Commerce president maintains, though, that sales over the Christmas holidays were good despite the closures.
Some businesses on a day-to-day basis decide whether they will continue, whether they won't continue. Some go through consolidation exercises.
It's just the second month into the new year, and already many businesses have shut their doors for good with no warning to customers on the reason behind their decisions. When the Morning Edition team took a drive around the Capitol, we couldn't help but notice for lease or for sale signs plastered on the doors of businesses near the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza and in the downtown area. President of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Jeffrey Beckles, says while he is unsure of the circumstances surrounding the closures, he remains optimistic about the future for small and medium-sized businesses in this country.
Rent, leases, insurances are all a part of the cost of doing business. What I believe people are beginning to understand more succinctly today is really what does it cost me to be in business? And as they begin to understand that in a greater context, then obviously they make decisions. Some will continue to press on with their businesses. Others may decide not to. But I think it's important that they understand specifically, what does it cost me to be in the business that I'm in, to deliver the services that I deliver? We've been in contact with many of our members in the downtown district who understand that downtown is evolving into something better, something greater for Bahamian businesses. So at the moment, there is no alarm for us from the Chamber's standpoint to be concerned about. We are satisfied that there is going to be a better downtown that will serve the needs of our local vendors and merchants well into the future. So as Nassau continues to evolve, I think you could find that there will be some adjustments, some changes, but against the backdrop that there will be a brighter, more vibrant downtown, that is a good backdrop to have, in that we know what the future is going to look like, where businesses, local businesses, will have an opportunity to expand, even maintain their operations, but in a far more improved downtown environment.
And while there were some businesses that decided to close their doors permanently, Beckles says there were others that did well during the Christmas holiday last year.
Leading up to the heart of the shopping season, there were some concerns about getting items cleared off the docks into their stores on time. We're happy to say that the response from the customs units was extremely positive. The controller and her team did an extraordinary job at ensuring that, one, they heard the concerns and that they were mitigated. Going into the new year, a lot of the traffic in the SME community still remain pretty solid, so we're excited about that, and we're right on the cusp of Valentine, so we anticipate a very strong showing over the Valentine's holiday as well.
The Chamber president says despite it all, he expects the country's economy to be good over the next 2 years.
I see no reason why we should not expect a pretty mild 2020. Obviously, the Central Bank has made its governor made its pronouncements earlier that as a result of Dorian, 2020 may be a moderate year to even slightly contracted. But the great thing about it is 2021 is projected to be a very sound year, a good year to rebound throughout the Bahamas, and I think that bodes well for everyone.
The Morning Edition team will be interviewing one of those business owners later today to discuss reasons behind their closures. Stay tuned for that report in tomorrow's newscast. A university study is being conducted on a number of businesses over in Grand Bahama and Abaco. The goal is to determine what can be done to make them more resilient in the face of storms like Hurricane Dorian. The project is being carried out by the University of the Bahamas and the University of Miami. Executive Director of Government and Public Policy Institute at UB, Shabargo Lang.
Of operational things could be done to the business so that it doesn't have as much impact from a storm, and also how it can recover more quickly from a storm. And so we will build these case studies. We will take the case studies and we will transform them into a workshop that could be presented to businesses throughout the country to help strengthen our economic resiliency in the face of climate change, in the face of storms like we would have faced with Dorian.
Vice Dean of Graduate Business Programs at the University of Miami Herbert Business School, Patricia Abril, and Business School Professor Alex Nemor are hoping the project can continue for many years and not just a reaction to the current situation.
Really learning about from the affected parties, you know, what the many layers and the complexity of the economic and the social situations has been invaluable.
It's been eye-opening to see the connectivity of the economy. A small fishery company that was financing fishermen, and so kind of the chain reaction throughout the economy, and kind of with things being damaged here, everybody being really affected of the entire population. And so we will do our very best to what small difference we can make.
Now to Exuma, where educators continue to promote a unique learning experience for students. This morning, we are hearing from key players in the public school system on that island. Here's Charles Fisher.
Exuma consists of a chain of island keys, settlements, which are miles apart. 15 schools, inclusive of 3 keys, create somewhat of a problem when it comes to education. Pamela Gott is the district superintendent.
We have a very unique district. We have 3 lower primary schools. They range from 1 to 3. 2 of them have a preschool unit attached. So that's lower level. Then we have upper primary. We have 2 upper primary schools, 4, 5, and 6. We have 3 full primary schools. One of them is in the far east, Williamstown, 15 students ranging from grade 1 to 6, 2 teachers. So when I speak to equity, I'm talking about the students who have to share their teacher with other levels, having the same expectation placed on them as students who have 1 teacher per grade. That in itself is a challenge.
And then there is a situation where teachers shy away from teaching on the keys.
For the keys, the challenge is not only because they don't want to come, but the population size presents a challenge for the ministry. They are all comprehensive for all age schools, and the most populated one would be Black Point with 35 students, ranging from 1 to 12. And so it's impractical and impossible to have a teacher per grade, so it's a multi-grade teaching situation.
Hurricane Dorian affected the islands of Grand Bahama and Abaco, resulting in some of those teachers from those islands having to be relocated to Exuma.
We didn't have an influx of teachers. We had teachers fill vacancies that would have probably not been filled had not the tragedy happened in Abaco. So it was unfortunate for them, but we kind of benefited from it, if that's the right term I should use. And the students came in, I think, before December, we had up to 70. Through Ellen Coakley and Georgetown Prime, we had the bulk of them. I think since then, some of them have returned. The Grand Bahama ones particularly returned. We still have a few Abaconians here, and we are thankful for corporate Exuma and other private sponsors who really assisted us with those students. Each child received breakfast and lunch that's sponsored, and during the Christmas time, each one of them received up to 4 gifts.
Principal at Ellen Coakley getting the bulk of those students and teachers.
So far, they have been performing very well. They've been performing very well. In fact, quite a few of them attained a GPA of a 2.5 or even better, despite going through the catastrophic memories of what happened in Abaco and Grand Bahama. They were able to pull through.
Teachers adjusting as well?
Yes, in fact, we have a few teachers here from those islands, and as a result, those persons, we welcome them in with open arms, and we want them to stay, in fact.
For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Great story there, Fisher. And still to come, hear how you can team up to protect your neighborhood from criminals. A live interview straight ahead.
Every dream needs a gentle push. Every tomorrow needs a warm embrace. Every ambition needs hope to take flight and the faith to pursue a unique goal. At Commonwealth Bank, we make it happen for you. Today, tomorrow, and into the future. Commonwealth Bank. Everything we do it for you.
The following is a public service announcement by the Ministry of Health.
On January 30th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared the 2019 novel coronavirus a public health emergency of international concern. Currently, the Bahamas has no suspected, reported, or confirmed cases of the 2019 novel coronavirus. Moreover, the Ministry of Health is closely following the global development of the virus. In view of the implemented border control and quarantine measures for travelers to the Bahamas as a component of its 2019 novel coronavirus emergency preparedness and response plan, the Ministry of Health advises the public that residents returning to the Bahamas who have a history of travel to China within 20 days of commencing travel will be quarantined on arrival in the Bahamas for up to 14 days. During this quarantine period, persons will be monitored for the development of symptoms. Additionally, contact with non-health personnel, such as families and friends, will not be permitted. The Ministry of Health requests the understanding and support of the general public during this time to ensure the protection and well-being of all our residents and visitors. These public health measures are being taken to minimize the risk of introduction of the 2019 novel coronavirus and to protect the health of the population.
The proceeding was a public service announcement by the Ministry of Health. Tune in this Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will deliver his first national report for 2020. The Prime Minister will provide an update on the post-Dorian reconstruction program in Abaco and Grand Bahama. Major topics will be covered in the report. Will include updates on social assistance, electricity service, home and school repair, small business assistance, and debris removal programs. This Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. on ZNS TV 13.
It's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Buddy Hield and the Kings have their...
Buddy Hield seems to be having the best season of his career. He had 32 points the other night. It was a bit disappointing, Shawnee Miller not winning the IWF World Female Athlete of the Year. The high school rankings will soon be out. Tabernacle, the defending champions, CC Speeding, they are always there. Who will it be this year? Each Monday on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, it's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Shalom, I'm Arthur Bailey, apostle and overseer of Arthur Bailey Ministries and host of Israel International, inviting you to join us for Searching the Scriptures on this station every Sunday at 9 a.m. I look forward to searching the Scriptures with you and your family. That's 9 a.m. on Sunday. Check it out, and your life will never be the same in Yeshua's name.
Everybody, I on TV. Look, I on TV. Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Valentine, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, I'm on television.
I don't have a TV in there.
We have Wi-Fi, though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up and start over again.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Present check? Miss I's a star now. I still gotta pay?
The National Neighborhood Watch Committee is hoping to garner your support as they team up this year to fight crime and help create safer neighborhoods. Live with us this morning are the co-chair of the committee, Mr. Keto Wong, and National Coordinator, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Wilton Johnson. Gentlemen, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Johnson, talk us a little bit about the formation of the committee. How did it come about?
Well, first of all, it was launched in April 30th, 2018 by the Right Honorable Hubert Minnis. He see the need of combining the community with the police force and trying to help, because you know the folks, the presidents in these areas, you know, they are the ones who get the eyes and the ears. Even though the police have them, they are better equipped to give us information quicker. And therefore, we have 92 in New Providence, 16 in Grand Bahama, 11 in Abaco prior to the Hurricane Dorian. And of course, we just came on Eleuthera a week ago, and we established throughout the whole Eleuthera, Spanish Well, Harbor Island, North, South, and Central, the entire Eleuthera. And our next trip will be heading to Exuma. So we want to hit all the busy islands of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to start this National Neighborhood Watch, which has really helped in fighting crime in our country.
And speaking of that, what are some of the efforts the Neighborhood Watch Committee is doing, I guess, to keep our community safe?
Well, you know, prior to even the National Neighborhood Watch Council, we always had Neighborhood Watch in the various areas. And so, hence, when we would establish this on April the 30th, 2018, we sort of went out and reached out to these presidents and neighborhood watches and combined them and put them under the NNWC. And since then, they've been strengthened, and we've learned a lot from them. They've learned a lot from us. And in that, we have liaison officers who work along with them and establishing rules. But the main thing is that the neighborhood watch presidents and vice presidents really run the show. The police is only there to assist. If you look at our org chart, you'll have me as the coordinators. We have the two co-chairs in the form of Alicia Hart and Mr. Keto Wong. And then under them are the presidents and vice presidents of the various neighborhood watches. And again, we have a cohesiveness where we meet once a month, and in another couple of weeks we'll have our rally, our march. There's a lot of stuff that we have planned for the entire year.
How effective has the committee been in its efforts?
Oh, great. Especially the new two co-chairs coming in on the 14th of December. They take off with a ball of speed. I have to slow them down a bit, but they're doing a great job, and we're working greatly together. And of course, the Commissioner of Police and the Minister and the officers, everybody's behind this effort because it's helping the police do their job as well. And like I said, they're the ears and the eyes on the ground because they're in the community. And by them being in the community, they can come to us and say some things to us, and then we go. We tell them while they're on the patrol, observe and report. We don't want them to get involved with no shootout or anything, because we have some neighborhood watchers who've been around before who are on patrol with firearms and all the licensed firearms, of course, but we tell them the ease of that. What you see, report to us, and then we do the job. We were trained to do that.
Now, Mr. Wong, I know you're also on the ground in the Neighborhood Watch Committee. Talk to us a little bit about how can the public and residents, I guess, get involved and assist the committee?
Well, first of all, good morning, Bahamas, and good morning to all of our neighborhood watch groups throughout the Bahamas, from Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, those who are residents of Abaco, and especially those here in New Providence. To get involved is a simple process by getting in contact with probably one of your closest police departments, whether it's in the east, the south, the west, or central of New Providence. And once you go into those police stations, we have what we call liaison officers who are a part of the program. And so therefore, those liaison officers can really assist you in setting up your neighborhood watch groups with the assistance of the National Committee, which is the NNWC, from the co-chairs Alicia Hart and myself, along with others who have been in the program for a while, ever since it's been launched from April 30th, 2018. You know, so overall, the Neighborhood Watch is a group of professional individuals throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas who have the vision to have safer and better communities, not just for them, but for their families. And that's the importance of the program, is to create safer and better communities. So at the end of the day, like ASP Wilton Johnson said, it is a partnership with the residents and the police department to bring our communities closer to each other. But overall, when we look at our neighborhood groups, we realize that you become more comfortable with who are the people in your neighborhood. You get to know your neighbors better. You get to know your community better. And so the NNWC is such a massive organization that it's going to become greater as the years comes and go.
What are some of the concerns you've been hearing from residents on the ground?
Some of the concerns are perhaps more patrol in their communities. The timely matter of calling 911 or 919 to get the assistance. That's some of their concerns. And also how to detect the criminal element. As we always in our classes, is one thing, observe and report. But also when you observe and report, you have to be diligent by knowing what you are reporting and what you are observing. So when you pass on those relevant information to the police department, they will know exactly who they're looking for, what they're looking for in terms of the vehicles, the individual, and so forth. And so the concerns is basically making sure that the department, the police department, act on a timely manner to assist our residents in time of need.
Would the committee be, I guess, branching off into smaller groups to tackle, I guess, the smaller communities here in the capital and around our island?
We have smaller groups. For instance, in my community, Johnson Terrace, is only 45 homes. And so that is a small community. And you have other communities like Industrial Gardens number 3. They are very small, knitted community, one way in, one way out. And so those areas are on board, and they're doing exceptionally well.
Any advice you want to give to residents to remain safe in 2020?
Be vigilant. Be vigilant, be observant, and continue to watch for those criminal elements that comes into your community. Also, we want to touch on one thing before we leave here today. We have our 2nd annual March and Family Rally Fun Day, which is on February 22nd, which is a Saturday, that leaves from Windsor Park, and we march through the streets onto East Street, onto Gibbs Corner, onto Chapel Street, and then head straight into our Waukee, where we're gonna have a fantastic day for our entire communities. And every Bahamian is invited to be a part of this spectacular event. And then we have our annual church service, the first annual church service for the NNWC, which will take place on February 23rd at Evangelistic Temple under the leadership of Dr. Vaughn Gash. And so the minister, Marvin Deans, will also be in attendance with other dignitaries for that church service.
Mr. Wong, Mr. Johnson, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck as you continue to keep our community safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. In just 4 days, persons of all ages around the world will exchange cards, flowers, candy, and more lavish gifts in the name of St. Valentine. Here at home, Valentine's Day at Saunders Beach will reminiscent of a kind of act of sanctorum or lives of the saints. This idea stems from an early account of Valentine's Day among 17th century monks. Now, according to proprietor of the New Duff, Kendrick Delaney, couples can come for a night under the stars, dazzled by love, dessert, and bubbly.
So this year we thought for Valentine's we'd offer a very special new flavor. It's going to be something really spectacular with raspberries and white chocolate. We're going to have a light installation on our trailer. We're going to use about 1,000 different colors of lights. Then you're going to have Duff and champagne, so you can come out for a dessert bar at night.
The event is designed to serve as a tribute to the season, and Delaney is hoping to make the evening a memorable one.
We're not a company that does anything the same as regular companies. We like to try to do everything different. That's why we call it the New Duff. And what we thought that after you had your dinner out there and you've already finished your movie night, how do you have something special with your somebody? Why not go to an art installation on the New Duff trailer? We're really proud of our food, and we thought that on Saunders Beach to be underneath the stars with 1,000 lights and champagne would be a really special night for couples.
Many people are turning to the keto diet as a way to combat their health issues. Here's Crystal Darling.
The keto diet is one of the new methods that people are trying out in attempts to lose weight and live healthier lives. Many of us have not yet broken our New Year's dieting resolution, and some others are still trying to figure out which diet to go on. Nutritionist Shay King explains what this trending diet is all about.
It's actually a scientific diet, and it works specifically by counting the macronutrients. You definitely want to balance those fats with eating lots of leafy greens and high carb fiber vegetables. And those are like the broccoli, the cauliflower. You definitely want to get those soluble fibers in your vegetables, and tons of organic leafy greens.
And although the diet is oil and fat-based, the nutritionist says that doesn't mean that oils and fats consumed have to be more on the unhealthy side of the equation.
Because keto diet basically is 75% fat, what you want to look at is when you're doing the keto diet is you want to incorporate clean fat, so this diet will be a little bit more healthier. So 20% of this diet is actually protein, and less than 5% of this diet is actually carbohydrate. So when you look at your fats, you want to make these fats clean, healthy fats, like your coconut oil, avocado oil, even olive oil. These are the cleaner fats, and you definitely want to use these type of fats when you're doing the keto diet.
And for sure, no diet is complete without exercise.
The body is actually switching its energy source from getting its energy from stored fat. This is a perfect diet to incorporate those high interval intensity training workouts. And so the workouts with keto diet can actually be short workouts. You call them HIIT workouts, and they actually work perfect because these types of workouts actually call for a lot of energy, which the keto diet gives you because it's high fat. You're actually doing time workout where you're actually doing workouts on a higher scale for 3 minutes, and then you soften the workout for another 2 minutes. So you're on 3 minutes and you're off 2 minutes. The entire workout will actually be anywhere from between 15 to 20 minutes. These workouts are referred to as high intensity interval workouts.
And for everyone thinking about trying keto,
tell you the truth, keto diet works. It actually helps to sculpt the body. It helps to streamline the body, less cellulite. The body looks more sculpted, refined, and of course, you're burning lots of stored fat.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
Great story there, Crystal's making me very hungry this morning. For sure, what's coming up in sports?
You know, this is the week of love. Who sings that song? What's going on? Can you tell me what's going on? Yesterday you had on red, now today you're in black. Your mood switch just like that. I told you folks out there in television land, the dawn mood switches every day. The day she's in love, the next day she's out of love. What's going on? You told me to wear red.
I told you on Monday and Friday. Every Monday and Friday we're wearing red to celebrate Valentine's. And
what am I going to do with LaDawn? What am I going to do? I have a special treat for you on Friday.
Oh, gosh.
A big gift. Coming up, the private school Best of 3 championship basketball started off yesterday. We're going to take a look at that. We're also going to go back down to Exuma. What's going on?
All of that and more ahead.
What's going on with you, girl? What's going on? You got...
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed love.
Abuse, domestic violence, suicidal tendencies. Are you being stressed out from these problems? Call the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. There are trained social workers available 24 hours to help you. Know that you are not alone in this.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
As the government continues its efforts to restore Grand Bahama and Abaco after Hurricane Dorian, Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis speaks to the nation to advise of the progress made. Tune in to the ZNS Radio and Television Network on Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. for the National Report on Hurricane Dorian restoration.
Dawn, yes, this morning we're giving you a second look at traffic this morning. This time we're near the intersection of Carmichael Road and Blue Hill Road. You may recall just last week, the morning traffic team, we joined officers from the traffic division in the Prince Charles Drive area where they were out in full force to enforce road safety rules among drivers. I have with me again Sergeant Jerron Thompson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who's giving some details about those efforts going on this morning in this area. Good morning, Officer Thompson.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas again.
All right, so tell us, what are officers doing in this area this morning?
Okay, as you can see, right behind us, we have a yellow box junction. This is one of our very busy intersections. We have persons that do not adhere to the rules and regulations as it relates to the yellow box junction. Everyone try to just rush through this intersection like sardines in a can, park tightly. We're here to make sure we have a smooth traffic flow, so persons can get to work in a timely fashion and more importantly, in an orderly and safe fashion.
I saw this morning as well, you've already had to engage several drivers who have approached the box in error. Again, remind drivers how they should properly use this junction.
Yes, once you look ahead and you see that there's some congestion ahead of you, and even though you might have the green light, once you see that your vehicle might not be able to clearly clear that junction, do not proceed. Just remain stationary until you have enough space to proceed. Don't take it upon yourself to think you could go in the street and just block up the street. The fine for blocking or parking in a yellow junction box, it is $300, and we are strictly enforcing that. You can see there's a high volume of traffic that is traveling now, and because of our presence, we have a smooth transition of traffic. Under normal circumstances, this area would be highly congested, where you wouldn't have a smooth traffic flow. But as much as we can, we'll try to see if we can get our officer at each of these yellow junction boxes so we can have smooth traffic flow so they can maintain the law and order.
And then finally, we know, of course, from our drone shot, you may be able to see that several pedestrians are in this area as well. What advice do you give to pedestrians as they're making their way around? I know earlier we talked about properly crossing, but is there any advice? I know the SM McPherson School is right up the street, but is there any advice for those pedestrians?
Yes, please stay on the sidewalks. Please utilize the sidewalks. There are many sidewalks in this area. Please utilize the sidewalks, the pedestrian crossing. Sometimes students, they take it, like the qualm, they take their slow time to cross the streets. Sometimes it's irritate drivers. We just ask the motorists to bear with these children because they are indeed children. And sometimes foolishness is born in the heart of a child. So don't allow that to annoy you. Just look out for the pedestrians, and we ask that parents teach their kids to be respectful to motorists and people alike as they make their way to school.
So some great information there, Officer Thompson. And then finally, we want to advise residents coming from the southwestern area. We know, of course, there was a serious traffic accident near Gladstone and Carmichael Road, and many persons in the area still reporting some interruption with services, utility services, specifically internet. And so we spoke with Live earlier this morning, who indicated that those errors that accident affected their fiber optic line, and they're working to correct that issue. So if you've experienced that, be mindful of that issue. But of course, LaDawn, this is a busy area, as you can see, and we're hoping for drivers and pedestrians to make it to their various destinations safely and on time. Reporting back to you in studio.
Good morning once again. Yes, it's that time for sports. The private school best of three Basketball championship tipped off Monday at Loyola Hall. In senior boys play, Queens College Comets, they fly by the Big Red Machine of Sac 48-38. And in senior girls, it was Sac rolling all over SJC 44-19. Now let's pick up action in the junior girls, where Sac had their way with the Saints of Kingsway Academy. Sac was working on a full tank of gas and never trailed in this one, taking game one to the tune of 55-21. The top junior player in the country, Antonisha Moultrie, outscored the Saints all by herself with a game-high 36.
We had one job. We come to win. We have to tighten up our defense, tighten up our offense.
I believe we win because we tried our best and we keep our head up and we was good on defense and offense.
We had many steals and everything, so we executed just like that. This we came for, so we could do it.
Jumping now to junior boys. This one much closer between Sac and the Falcons of Princeville. Sac ran out to a 14-point lead, only to see the Falcons come back to cut within two with under a minute left to play in the ball game. But this one belongs to Sac. Princeville will have to make some adjustments in game two after going down 34-32.
I mean, anytime you can come out with a win, it's always a good thing. We made this more of a competition than we needed to tonight. We didn't handle the basketball. We didn't execute the way we wanted to and needed to. Anytime you're in a game like this, anything can happen. When momentum swings, you find yourselves fighting a losing battle. We didn't stay as composed as we needed to. Luckily, some bounces went our way, some shots didn't fall, and we came up with a win. But the effort, not exactly proud of the way we played, but one down, we got one more to go.
Our guys just started to get down into what we doing at the last minute. Sometimes as a basketball player, it's hard to come down from a big deficit. Legs start to go in the fourth quarter. They started to understand late, but I can't blame nobody but ourselves because we make unforced turnovers, miss unforced shots, but I'm sure we'll be better for next time.
Now some outstanding performances turned in by athletes at this past weekend's Ellen Coakley Track and Field Invitational in Exuma. On hand to view the talent was head coach at the University of the Bahamas, Ednall Rule.
I know the talent is here in Exuma. This meet is important for the family violence to get the opportunity to develop their craft, develop their skills in track and field. Great performances today. I see two good athletes coming out of one out of NJM Major and one right here at Ellen Coakley that I definitely need at the university to help my cross-country and track and field program to advance for the college level.
Now the surface on the Onion Bowl, not the best. It's a tar surface. Runners from New Providence having to adjust to these conditions.
This was an extraordinary meet, and I must say that the competition was good and the track was okay because I'm not used to running on tar track, and the energy from the crowd was very amazing. And I actually ran good for the first time on tar track.
The accreditation process for the Olympic Games is underway, and even though some athletes may not make the team, a long list of names has been submitted to the Bahamas Olympic Committee to get the process going, especially when it comes to track and field.
When the athletes would have qualified, it makes it easier for us just to click those athletes that have been qualified so the accreditation can be produced, as opposed to at the last minute trying to gather all the necessary information. So it's standard operating procedures for all multi-sport games to have a long list that includes everybody that we think can make the games, like I said. Swimming, we will be paying our attention to swimming in very short order. I know that there are a number of athletes with the B qualifying standard, and we just have to wait until the cutoff period. Swimming is a little less challenging. They're very organized. Their information is always available in short notice. And it's a smaller team. So in short order, we will turn our focus to swimming.
The Grand Bahama Darts Association impacted by Hurricane Dorian, but members did what they had to do to keep the sport alive on that northern island.
We've had fluctuations of ups and downs. A lot of times natural disasters such as Dorian kind of hinders our progress. But right now we're on the move. Actually, our togetherness as a country in the whole has motivated us to push forward. And we've heard some good news from the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Culture where they'll be assisting us. And we look forward to progressing over the years.
And that's going to put a wrap on sports. LaDawn is not wearing red today, so I don't have no big word that does not have any meaning and nobody knows. So that's going to do it for sports.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
As the government continues its efforts to restore Grand Bahama and Abaco after Hurricane Dorian, Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis speaks to the nation to advise of the progress made. Tune in to the ZNS Radio and Television Network on Tuesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. for the National Report on Hurricane Dorian restoration.
Shalom, I'm Arthur Bailey, Apostle and Overseer of Arthur Bailey Ministries and House of Israel International, inviting you to join us for Searching the Scriptures on this station every Sunday at 9 a.m. I look forward to searching the Scriptures with you and your family. That's 9 a.m. on Sunday. Check it out, and your life will never be the same in Yeshua's name.
Our final look at weather. We have some high clouds moving in over the northwest Bahamas, and undercutting that is an area of high pressure, which will continue to provide some moderate to brisk winds in the central and southeastern islands today. So we're asking boaters in the central and southeastern Bahamas to continue to exercise caution. Our forecast for today calls for mostly sunny and pretty nice condition with a high temperature getting up to 82 degrees. And tonight, near clear skies, your low temperature, a comfortable 71 degrees. The extended weather forecast looks like this. We have lots of sunshine in the daytime right into Friday, but come Friday night late, we expect a frontal system to move into the area. That will bring with it some nighttime clouds and showers and a nice cool down on Saturday as that frontal system goes through. But most significantly, the winds will increase on Saturday. We're looking at 20 to 30 knots. They will be gusting in excess of gale force at times. So for the Valentine's Day massacre, well, that could be some issues for you out there on the waters in Waterkeep Bay. So take note of that. Some very strong winds on Saturday, but things will drop off just a bit on Sunday, so that second day of sailing may be a little bit okay for you. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for us this Tuesday morning. For the entire Morning Edition team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a terrific Tuesday, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Insurance. You can count on Bahamas First. They're the first in insurance today, tomorrow. Check them out online, bahamasfirst.com, or email them. Ask us at bahamasfirst.com. The Wake Up Bahamas show is proudly sponsored by Commonwealth Bank. Pay less and save more. Consolidate today. Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services. And the Wake Up Bahamas show brought to you by Miami Back and Neck Specialist. They have the doctor who takes care of the professional athletes and the other doctors, too. They have a robotic and minimally invasive technique. They believe in motion preservation. If you are experiencing back and or neck pain, give Daisy a call at 305-519-5155 or at the office, 305-467-5678. And, of course, the Wake Up Bahamas show, proudly sponsored by NUA Insurance. They've got the agents and the brokers who've been helping Bahamian families and businesses with their general insurance needs for over 50 years. And guess what? They offer a full range of insurance coverage for your property, your vehicles, your marine vessels, your commercial and your liability needs. NUA has 3 locations here in New Providence, Collins Avenue, Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza, and Carmichael Road. They have branch offices in Freeport, Pamela, Eleuthera,